Welcome to the Grow with Ryan Magic podcast. Today we're here with Master Sri Akarshana. I'm really excited to have you here. We've been kind of connected on the periphery for a while now, and you've had such a beautiful remembering transition experience from being Eric Ho to becoming Master Sri Akarshana. And I'm super excited to explore the process that you've gone through from being someone who, from observation, was really driven into business. And I know you still are. I know you still love business. I'm really excited about that and to hear about and explore this transition that you've been through and what your experience of living in a really beautiful, integrated way that you live now. Really cool. And so thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So I'd love to hear your journey from kind of your lens and your observation to kick us off on what was your life like before you had this remembering experience. What was your map of reality? What was your lens, your perspective? What was driving you? And then what was the moment in which you started to unravel, unlayer, and remember to the extent of becoming Master Sri Akarshana?
So that the awakening part wasn't really there. Wasn't really at the Master Sri Akarshana part. So I was very ego driven. My father was actually a gang leader. So very powerful masculine energy. He was my role model. I used to always look up to him and think it's so amazing to have so many people follow him all the time. And so I wanted to be like him. And as a result of that, I became a person who really liked to fight and really liked it, everything my way. And because I wasn't very academic, he was an entrepreneur. He told me I had to make money. I have to learn to make money. I have to start a business. I have to take loans and start businesses. So he set a good foundation for me, actually. And I started businesses. I was in restaurant franchise business. I was in steel export business. I was in multiple businesses, and they were doing extremely well. So 24, 25 is probably what I would call, let's say, first level awakening, where I was making very good money. And I fell into depression. So I was lost. I didn't know why we do what we do. And I'm sure everybody asked that one time in their life, why do we do what we do? What is our purpose in life? And so that big question came. And with that question, my master always says, with questions comes answers. And that's the seeker's journey. So with that question, then I went out to Kenya for the first time. And it was a weird journey because I went there because somebody told me it was very dangerous out there. So I went there to, at that time, hopefully something will happen to me and I don't need to live anymore. It was a dark place. But when I got out there, I seen kids that needed help. And I started an orphanage. I built an orphanage and I built a school. And it's been 9 years now. Every year we go out there and we have our own charity. So that changed my perspective on what life is about and happiness, and that it's not all about money and achieving materials. So that was one awakening. Second awakening was, okay, I started to understand that about happiness, yet at the same time, ego was still very strong. It was inbuilt in me. It was conditioned for a long time. So that was when I came across a master out in Bali, and he taught me about living in the now, living in the present moment, happiness, fulfillment, and not fighting and flowing. And so with all that came all the yoga, the energy healing, and all of that. This was around maybe six years ago now.
Wow.
And so life already took a good 180 at that time, which was from material to saying no material at all and money doesn't matter, to then coming to the balance of money does matter. Money is in our life. We can't get out of it. And how do you play it? But how do you play it in a way where there's no attachment to it? You know?
Yes.
And so striking that balance became this this balance of spirituality and wealth. And I loved it. The journey was beautiful. The journey of that was probably a good 3-4 years where that was my message. And it was a balanced lifestyle, no anger, no frustration, no ego. Everything was just, okay, let's just, in a very similar field to what you're doing, is just let's empower lives and enjoy, have fun. The time actually came, the question you were asking about Master Sri Akarshana, it came last year. I was flying to do a gig in Taiwan, and on the plane on the way to Taiwan, one of my speaker trainers, one of the students basically asked me on the plane and said, "You always teach people about, setting goals and things like that, but you never tell us what your goal is. Like, what is your goal?" And for the first time, after a long while, I spoke the truth, which was deep down inside of Eric Ho, which was, I said, actually, I don't have a goal. And Harriet, she said to me, "What do you mean you don't have a goal?" I said, "Well, however the universe wants to use me, it'll use me that way." And I said that, actually, Harriet, there's nothing that I want anymore. And then she looked at me in a bit of shock. And then she said, "Well, what does that mean? You teach people about setting goals and setting intentions." And then deep truth came out of me, which I only heard it for the first time. I was literally witnessing myself on that plane saying these words, which was, I said, "Harriet, actually, I think Eric Ho is complete." And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I don't know what it will be called, whether it's called fulfilling a dharma, whether it's called transcendence, whether it's called samadhi, whatever it is. I just have a weird feeling that they're going to take me back soon." And she was like, "What? Who's going to take you back?" I said, I feel I'm going to leave soon. And I remember
thinking, don't, this plane's got to land. let's hope this plane lands.
and my partner Kaina, she started crying, and because she was there also. And then a few team members were getting very emotional. And I said, "You guys are getting very emotional, but look how blissful I am." I said, "It's not I'm depressed and I'm suicidal." I said, I am complete. I have completed everything. I feel like the soul desire, everything is done. And I said, "I don't know why it's a weird feeling, but be happy because I'm happy." And I feel like if my time is done now, I feel like I've done everything that I needed to do, and I've done a good job of it, and I'm happily leaving. And I said, "I don't know when it's going to happen, but it feels like it's soon." So that was now recalling back on that, because I was in Taiwan, and literally in the space of 3 weeks, while I was in Taiwan, I just finished my gig. I received a message on my phone. And this message was from a lady by the name of Rebecca. Now, Rebecca is a disciple of Grandmaster Aksha. Grandmaster Aksha I only met him literally 3 times before. And it's short teachings. It's like 1 week burst teachings. It's not that I've been a disciple for many years or anything. He's got thousands of disciples around the world that have been training for him for 8, 9, 10 years. But the message came, and Rebecca said, Grandmaster would like you to join him in the mountains for 30 days in August. And I said, what for? And she said, he will give you more instructions nearer the time. And I said, yeah, but 30 days is a lot of time. You know, out of our business, it's a lot of time. So I'm saying, but I said, it's a lot of time. So what is it? And then she sent me a message. She said, he wants to give you the blessing of the title of spiritual master. And I was thinking, like, me, spiritual master? I always, and through branding and what we do, I always called myself spiritual gangster. And I was thinking, spiritual master, does that mean I need to wear a robe? I said, I'm not that type. I said, I'm a lot more cool and funkier than that, you know? And all these things were going into my mind. And I was thinking, this is really weird. And I said, never thought to be a master before, but I just replied. I said, you know, okay, if universe, this is what, I don't know why me, you know, he's got so many disciples. So I just said, yeah, you know what? Actually, in reality, I was just thinking, like, fuck it, you know, what the hell, you know, what's the worst that can happen? So, and in my mind was, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go through a lot of yoga training, which I'm not so good at yoga. So hopefully I'll get through it, you know. Mm-hmm. August came, I went out there. Day 1, day 2 was a nightmare for me because the yoga, they do power yoga. It's very intense. So I was like, oh, I said, there's like 28, 29 days left. I said, how am I going to even get through this month? And I remember saying to my videographer and my team members, I said, I don't think I can get through this. I said, it's very tiring. And on day 3, we sat there in meditation, just like the other 2 days. And then he told me to close my eyes. And he said, okay, now visualize a light towards the third eye. And he asked me, he said, can you see it? I said, well, I think I can imagine it. So I think that's seeing it. And he said, now can you see it? I was just in so much shock. I opened my eyes straight away. And I said, I seen it. I said, oh my God. I said, what on earth was that? And he was sat right in front of me. My skeptical mind was going. He was sat right in front of me, maybe around 2 meters apart. And then he was sat with his eyes closed there, sitting, meditating. I said, what was that? And our skeptical mind was saying, did he have a torch? Did he shine a light? Was there sunlight? What was going on? What was that thing? I said, what was that? And he said to me, that is because I opened for you. But now you need to learn to open it. In my mind was like actually thinking like, what the fuck was that? You know, it's like,
have you seen the movie Doctor Strange?
Yeah. Like that.
Very similar
like
to that.
Portal opening.
Yeah.
so I was like, so from then I was hooked. I knew I was hooked because I was like, I want to know, you know, I want to know. Yeah. I did energy healing before. I did all of these different things before. And I thought I already knew so much, but this was something else. So day 4 came along, day 5 came along, day 6, and then the days passed by. And I realized through the practice, we weren't out for 30 days. We were out for a good few years. And the reason being is because most of our practice was done in third eye portal. So we were out. And in different dimension is a very interesting thing. And I think to attack my skeptical mind at the time, because I was thinking, am I just dreaming this? Or am I just like pretending I'm somewhere else? The interesting thing, I teach a lot of advanced yoga. And what I realized was I could try to fool myself and say, hey, I'm just imagining it. But every time I come back into it, let's say today is the 3rd. Tomorrow is the 4th. I look at my calendar, it's the 4th. Yesterday, this leg couldn't come on the shoulder. Today, this leg automatically comes on the shoulder. And I'm like, what is going on? By 30 days, my yoga was at the level where people would be practicing 5-6 years. And people were shocked. They were like, how can you do this? You're a beginner. And I was like, I also kind of don't know. But at the same time, I've been training very hard somewhere else.
Yeah.
Come the conclusion of the end of it. And I still didn't know exactly what this whole deal was about. I just fascinated by all the training.
Yes.
It came to the last day of the training. In this physical reality, day 30. I went to Grandmaster's house and we walked around the gardens that he has. And when we were walking around, he said to me, I need to say to you a few things before you leave. And I said, is it that I can't wear black anymore? And he said, and he smiled at me. And I said, it's really weird. I said, they told me yesterday. They said, I can't wear black anymore. And he said, yes, you need to wear more white, more gold, and blue. That is the color for you now. And I said, yeah, that's really weird. And then I said, is this something about my name? And then he said, the name will be given to you on the 15th of September. So for now, don't change anything. There needs to be this transition. So I was like, this is really weird. And I said, well, what would the name be? And he said, it'll be given to you in some time. A few days later, he gave the name. So he gave the name. He said, Master Sri Akarshana. I said, and at first I looked at it, I said, first of all, number one, I can't pronounce it. Number two, it's such a long ass name. Who on earth is going to remember that? Number three, I said, that's going to cut my branding. I've been working on my branding for the last 10 years and blowing up social media. And then now I'm going to change it. Everyone's going to unsubscribe and think, who on earth is this? First was human mind was attacking.
Sure.
Then came in and I asked the question in the same way we go into every meditation now. We go in and I asked the question. They showed me and it was fascinating. The name was put there. They were charging it up. The whole destiny path was laid out. What the role of this spirit, this energy needed to do was for that. And I seen the whole thing. And then and then even the questions would come in, even in that dimension, would come in and say, hey, but what about branding? What about the name? What about it's so long? How can people even pronounce it or know it? Then it was like, okay, watch, this is what will happen. So they showed me the chart. They said, what will happen is this will happen, then this will happen. And I seen it and I said, okay, well, I know everything you've said so far is real. So I said, okay, well, let's flow with that. On 15th of September, 2019, Master Sri Akarshana, the name came out. When the name came out, on YouTube, you already seen stats, everything in stats, business and stats, we see. What happened was, boom, come down. When it come down, team were like, oh, what's going on? Don't know what's going on. People are unsubscribing. I said, no. I said, it's fine. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So it was here, it comes down, then like this. Literally within 1 week, 2 weeks, it did it.
Wow.
We've never had videos that rank like that before, business that come in like that before, and went like that effortlessly. And I was like, I just smiled and I just thought, okay, well, they got it all handled, so I don't need to handle anything.
Yeah.
The backstory of what I told you with the plane and Harriet and Erico wanting to, he's finished. I didn't realize, it didn't click until around 1-2 months after, when I was on stage and I was speaking about this. And I said, wait there a second. This is not the spirit and desire of Erico. Erico didn't want to do anything anymore. He was done.
Yeah.
Now the drive, the determination, I've been like, I mean, you understand in this game, it requires hard hustle, like serious hustle, like it, all around the clock. Now this spirit has this energy to work all around the clock without feeling tired or anything. And it has such a big hunger. And it knows exactly the vision it needs to create and what it needs to do. And it is working like that. Erico would have never worked like that. So that is, this part is actually no longer remembering what you asked at the beginning. Remembering happened with Erico. Remembering. It happened. Then completion. Completion to now is new spirit. And the new spirit is, it's difficult actually when it comes to family, because I would never, these words will never be for mom and dad, because they would be very emotional and upset about it. But in reality, I got set a few commands from my masters. Number one, keep all affairs settled, calm. Don't disrupt. So you have the brain and the mind and the memory of who Erico is and everything that it does. So when you are here, then keep everything settled. Keep family happy, keep partners happy, everything happy. Otherwise, you make too much disruption, it's not good. So that is number one. Second thing is, dark age is coming. Bear in mind, this was last year. I did an interview with Preston Smiles. I'm not sure if you know Preston Smiles, Marissa Peer. Yeah, Marissa Peer, Omai Annie, with these three. I did it in November. And in November, the show, I was explaining how crisis is coming, recession is coming. I said natural disasters coming, all of this thing is coming. This was November last year. Everything, this whole sequence, this whole year, everything coming. The purpose of what we need to do as this collective consciousness right now, on the positivity scale, on the positive, we are purely just the vessels, the army for the chief of positivity. So we're working for that. Then there's the chief of negativity, which is always there. So they're working also. They're working extremely hard, and they're stronger than us right now. So why is it that people like you, people like me, all the people who are awakening to consciousness, why are they suddenly getting awakened and saying, hey, we need to spread love and positivity? It's because they're recruiting us right now. So we're just being recruited. And now we are just needing to do our work to balance out the energies.
Yes. Wow. Thank you for sharing your story. That's an incredible story. And I've got lots of questions. I think on that last kind of point, like intellectually and from the ego's perspective, you know, the ego wanting to control, to understand, to figure out, for it to make sense. It's not necessarily something that makes a lot of sense from a material lens. However, it is something that everyone could attest to. I mean, you couldn't ignore the fact that people that I would never ever have thought would have been into meditation, spirituality, all of a sudden starting to try it out and try it on. So you can't, I personally couldn't, from my experience, or me, myself, I'm an example, because if I go 3-4 years ago, there is no way you could have convinced me that I would become a meditation teacher, or that I would literally be okay with destructing the business in which I'd built my self-worth and my identity at that point, to be okay being a nobody or a nothing and realizing that there was everything within that. You couldn't have convinced me of that. So I can viscerally say that the experience has been real for me, that people are starting to wake up. It's very obvious if you look around, which is really cool. But on the same token, if anyone that's listening, just see if you can make that same call, that same realization, and connect any dots for what we're saying without having to understand it or figure it out. And so my question to follow up from that incredible journey of pretty much a birth, death, and rebirth is, like, what can somebody do to be able to go through a transition to greater consciousness, greater fulfillment? Like, what advice can you, so that story is incredible, but it's unique. It's unique from what I've been exposed to. It's unique. Like, I haven't been, you know, given the light in my mind by a master that in the hills. And I'm pretty much everyone that listens to this won't have had a similar experience. So how can you pay forward the wisdom, or what would you like people to get from your transformation and your rebirth and who you've become now? How can that become tangible and relevant to someone that hasn't had the same experience?
That is my journey. It's not for everyone like that. Who wants to die and come into another? This is not it's not for everyone. The purpose now for us, including yourself, is very simple, because it is to awaken people to that level of consciousness. Is to say, even if we let's look at the entrepreneurship landscape. So in entrepreneurship, coaches, speakers, business owners, we always teach, we say, okay, add value and the money will come. Add value and the money will come. If we come to first level of consciousness, which is just crossing the border, add value and the money will come. When a lot of people that are not so conscious, they hear that, they think, okay, I got it. What Gary Vee used to teach, jab, 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 left hook, or what did he say? He said, value, then hook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, then what the surface level, then business level, business owners, they come in, they think, okay, I got it. It means that I'm going to need to provide some value so I can sell my product to them.
Yes.
Actually, that intent is very different and the result is very different. With that thought, okay, I will add value to get my results. That is surface level. It's kind of like, okay, I heard this personal development guru say that, therefore I will do that. Yeah. That's surface level. It will work, but it's not sustainable. And it's not powerful. What penetrates is when we are adding value without the expectation of outcome. Yes. That is also working with laws of attraction, right? So when we are doing that with no expectation, we are giving with no expectation. So then people will start to shift their understanding of it. Oh, I'm not just saying things and doing things to make people happy so I can convert them. No. I'm saying things, I'm doing things from the love of my heart. Yes. Because I genuinely want to help, right? With that, then comes the reward, which is the giving and receiving of the universe. Yes. But we have two ends of the spectrum now. Now you have the kick-ass entrepreneurs, which is kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm going to give them something so I can convert. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to build a relationship, build rapport so I can convert. Then you have the very super spiritual woo-woo people. And I always say this because it's interesting. A lot of spiritual people, conscious people, woo-woo people, they always, they believe in abundance, they speak abundance, but they're not actually living in abundance. I see a lot of them, they're struggling. They are actually struggling. They're struggling to pay bills. They're struggling to make ends meet. But then they say, okay, it's okay. I don't need it. I'll refer to meditation. No, you are struggling. If you need to look after your kids right now, you need to look after your family. Yes. There's a problem going on. Wake up, you know? Yes. And so this is what, when people say, oh, law of attraction, oh yeah, visualize. No, do something, get your ass moving. You're missing the physical part, right? Yes. You're spiritual being in physical form. So do physical also as much as spiritual. Yes. Now let's take the other end of the spectrum. So then people are saying, and they're doing from this side, spiritual side. Okay, keep giving from the place of love, from the space of love, and everything will come back. Every time they open their eyes, it's not coming back. And they're still broke, and they're still thinking, what's the problem? Is because what they are missing here is they're missing the physical knowledge, the strategy. What is the step-by-step? So now, how do we make this in alignment? We are saying, okay, you must do the physical. You must learn the physical. You must learn the strategy. You start a YouTube channel without a strategy. You start a business without a strategy. No, you got to learn the strategy. That's the physical. But when you are doing it, and while you are in the practice of it, we are saying, okay, I understand add value. I understand a funnel. I understand an ad. I understand how the lead comes in. Okay, understand that part, set it up. Once you've set it up with the intent, come from the place of heart. I want to give out with no expectation of coming back. No expectation of what's going to come back. I just give through a systemized funnel, right? I am giving. I'm just giving. And I'm just allowing now, Then watch it all just come back to you. So this is what people need to start wrapping their head around. It's not, hey, nobody here needs to be, I need to be a spiritual master. No, nobody needs to go to the mountains right now. No, it's not that. Right now, just awakens the consciousness. Number one, we work hard every single day. You should be in the hustle, but not chasing. You should be in the hustle of things. You should be doing things. You should be active. People enjoy sleep too much. Enjoy sleep. God give you this one opportunity of life and you like to close your eyes. That's your most favorite thing to do. You know, I say, no, live life to the fullest, do more out there. But while you are doing it, be present in every moment. Don't be chasing. You know, the more output you do, the more will come back. Keep doing, but be relaxed. So we be grateful while we're in the hustle, right? I'm in gratitude. Everything I have is okay. If I die this way right now, I'll be blissful. I'll be happy. But I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue for more.
Thank you. That was really beautiful. So I got a really big learning from that, because for where I'm at the moment, I'm aware of the three in one awareness taught through like the Vedas, which is like the Karma Khan, Upasana Khan, the Gyan Khan, and balancing the physical, emotional, and spiritual, and having the integration there. And I've lived the polarity of the material, and that's been my reality. And then I've come back and gone the complete opposite and lived the reality of the spiritual by spending a lot of time meditating, and my body craving rest because it had been suppressed for so long, and then indulging in that which was needed. And there was a rebalancing, and then come back to integration at the moment. And I'm in that phase of getting the, did you want to jump in?
So that phase was completion for you. So 180 completion now. That journey is completion. Now is new journey. Now new journey is what you're saying, integration.
Yes.
This big thing for you, because Ryan, you are what my master says. And this was because so many disciples back then, they were saying, why him? He hasn't been training. We've been training 9 years with you. Why him? Why does he get it? Grandmaster just answered. He said, because container is ready. Back then, I didn't know what that meant. When container is ready, what does that mean, container is ready? And then I come to understand. If you have a think about it like this, let's say, for example, we understand there's so many levels of consciousness. From one level of consciousness, we will say how the average human thinks, okay, which is consumed by media. So that their mind is brainwashed, right? So that's what that is. Then it comes to one level of consciousness, and that consciousness is saying, no hate, no anger. It's love prevails. Love is the strongest thing. Love is the greatest frequency. Love always wins. It makes a good quote, it makes a good meme, but it's not the truth. And people won't like to listen to this part, but you can fight it all you like. You can say, oh, love always wins. When somebody hates somebody, somebody can kill somebody. You tell me how love win in that game. Because then you come to next level consciousness is saying, no, positivity doesn't always win. Negativity doesn't always win. Positivity isn't good or bad. Negativity isn't good or bad. World of duality is saying without one, the other one cannot exist. Existence happens on up down. We understand from what we see, when things is like this means life. When things is like this means flatline. It means gone. Existence would cease without night and day, without happiness and sadness, without anger, hate, and love on the other side. So when we understand this, what is everything? Everything is just for balance. So now the game has come to this point where in some spiritual lineages we call the Dark Age. What do we mean by that? It's very simple. It's saying that things have been going up. Things have been well. Everything's been going well. It's been going nicely. Globally, in this game of life. It's been going like this. Also, financially, it's like this inflation, things going up, property prices going up, everything inflation. So that everything is going up. Everything's nicely going up. But because it's going up, now something needs to balance it out. And it needs to balance out for a number of reasons. Even if you look at population is going up too high. Then how is everything we're having different problems here in this game. We're having fossil fuels is problem, and pollution is problem, all this is problem. So it's going up like that. Then what happens is, now creator energy. Don't think of God, don't think of any religion, because then our mind gets distracted. Let's just say, and everything is energy. Our
Mm.
creator is energy, that's all. We can't deny that. That's science. So when the biggest energy is looking at, okay, we need to make sure that, look in our body, we have neutrons, protons, electrons. So it's positive and negative. Everything is always that. So
Absolutely.
now they're looking at it, they say everything needs to be in balance. So they're like, oh my God, this is going up like this right now. So what do they say? If this was an analogy, it would look a bit like this. The creator will say, okay, chief of negativity, come here. We got a meeting now, right? Come here. Something's not right. We got population is going crazy right now. We got fossil fuels, all these natural resources are dying. We got pollution. We got all this. What are you going to do about it? So chief of negativity is like, okay, let me build my army. Let me sort it out. So what it will do, it will use, how does it use? It needs to go, it channels through vessels, right? So it needs to use human bodies. And trust me one thing, there are plenty of vessels and containers that are very well equipped to fight for negativity. Right? Haters are strong. When haters hate, they're very strong. So they're ready for it. It's in their nature. They built up through their lives for it. So universe is watching and saying, okay, I'm going to select you. You guys are going to fight for me, right? So suddenly, then what happens? All these things happen. Disasters happen. Everything happens. Now in this time, what is going on? Now the big boss is looking at it and saying, wait there a second, this is going a little bit too extreme right now. What's going on, right? So it's like, we got to have a meeting. Chief of positivity, come this way. Come, please, go and do your work. So now they need to find their minions. We're just vessels. We need to we surrender to it. Even if we don't surrender to it, we don't have a choice. Our greatest time, our most magical times, the moment we come into this planet and the moment we leave, we are not in charge. Think about it like that. We can get wiped out like that. Who's in charge? So surrender anyway. If we're not in control, let's just surrender to it.
Yes.
So chief of positivity says, okay, that guy, Ryan, he looks like a strong vessel. He's, because if I am needing to some vessels to fight for positivity right now, what are the characteristics that I need? Think about it. Think about if you were God. Who would you choose? Would you choose somebody who's not so good at communication, not very good at preaching, not very good at leadership, not very good at what? Or would you choose somebody who's equipped with these things? You're equipped with all of these things. You're a great leader. You've proved it. Right? You know how to motivate people. You've proved it. You know how to compel people towards action. You've proved it. And what do they need right now? They need the army for positivity. They need in some spiritual term that we call preachers, right? Or in modern terms now we call motivational speakers, right? So they need you. They need leaders. So they'll pick out the leaders. Okay, here. Okay, this one, Master Sri Akarshana. Okay, this one, Ryan. Okay, so we're going to use these guys. Now, let's use them. Let's awaken them. Let's give them some signs. Let's just throw around some yoga signs, some spiritual signs, some whatever. So yeah, and then suddenly awaken them. And after if we throw in enough, if we send enough messengers coming their way, if we send enough of their students coming up to them and saying, hey, have you checked out this before? Have you looked at energy healing before? If we keep throwing in the signs over a number of a time span, what will happen is they will finally be like, okay, so what on earth is this thing? Let's awaken them. So they'll send us a sign. Suddenly, from one logical-minded person, business person, to another logical-minded business person, comes suddenly all this. What's all this? Why? Where did it come from? Well, they geared us up for this. Now they geared us up for this. And why us? It's very simple. Because we're strong.
That's beautiful. Thank you. That was very helpful for me. And it makes a lot of sense. And I've been given signs that have been steering me recently and confusing me with the way that I haven't intended to go. I would like to go this way. And then I'm just being like, nah, back this way. And so I feel as though, what I would really love to get your perspective on. And by the way, for the listeners, like, I'm here. I really feel like I'm playing the role of a listener here as well. And so I'm very much enjoying this, and I hope you guys are too. And what I would love you guys to get at this point is just to be able to feel into any knowing that you've had. If you just put the fear and the how and the what's it gonna look like and the need to know aside, if you've had any kind of feeling or knowing at any point, no matter how small it is, you got to trust that light and go, there is something for me here, you know. And it doesn't matter about the rationality behind it. If it feels right and you feel as though you can be a vessel for impact, trust that. You know, it's very empowering. It's very liberating. It's very nice to feel as though you're making a difference. And for me, I've very much felt called in that direction. Hence why I started the podcast, and I've been doing things that I love to do. I love to preach. I love to talk. I love to listen. I love to converse. It's my gift. It's my love, and I would do it for free for the rest of my life. And I would love for you guys to check in with, what does that look like for you? And I'd love to ask you, Master, what specifically would you recommend that people do to be able to tap into their purpose and be able to have clarity on their path? Because for me, and this is where there's a couple of kind of conversing ideas here, a little bit of a polarity to play around with behind you saying, cool, if you want to grow a brand, you need to do the material, you need to do the physical, you need to have the strategy. Yes, and there's also the spiritual and the emotional, and detach on it. Once you set it up, surrender, be grateful. Don't place all your self-worth in the outcome. Genuinely learn to be a vessel for impact. There's that. And then I want to balance that perspective and get your thoughts on, okay, so if you've got to figure out all the strategy, what's the balance between knowing your gifts and your genius and then leaning into the strategic edge of how that becomes tangible, how that then yields returns and results? Because for me, say, for example, I love speaking. I don't really like the strategy behind marketing. I don't like figuring out funnels. I don't like looking at my Facebook ad stats. I don't really like it. And in the past, I was like, well, my weakness, I need to lean into the weakness, lean into the weakness, lean into the weakness. Recently, it feels more like, you know what, I'm just going to hire people that are good at that. I'm going to play around in my genius zone. I've legitimately categorized the things that I love doing, and I've hired a PA who just makes sure that I spend time in that genius zone. How would you, what are your thoughts on that? The balance between like mastering the strategy, doing your genius zone.
I think what you're saying is perfect. So it's that way. I'm a very similar character to you. So don't show me the stats. Don't show me accounts and things like that. As long as it's profitable and money's coming in, then that's good. Just keep going. Let's keep going. You guys do your part. So I'll be like that. If I had to look at that, I think I would lose my purpose. If you told me to sit in front of a laptop every day looking at Facebook ads, I think I would rather not live anymore. You know, I'm done. I'm complete. So because that is not for me. But for some people, and you must know this as well, some people, they're so geeky in it, they love it. You know, they actually enjoy that game. So that's perfect. That's for them. You know,
yes.
So that is their purpose.
Sure.
I think when it comes to the person outside who's looking for purpose, when do you feel you are serving purpose is when you are being purposeful. And how is higher purpose? What is higher purpose? Higher purpose is just referring to serving beyond yourself. So you can't say, I will find my higher purpose by, I want a Lamborghini, I want a house, I want a yacht, you can serve that, but it's not your higher purpose. Higher purpose is when you're serving beyond yourself. So what does that mean? It means serving others. So I would say everybody needs to think of this. Okay, you might have some natural gifts, natural talents, and some may need to be found, because actually natural gifts and natural talents, people get a little bit of confusion there also. It's because what they were as a child to what they are now is probably very different. If the best way is to actually think, okay, when you were 3, 4, 5 years old, how were you as a character? Were you that character you are now? Because that will give you a better reflection, because the layers I grew up being a shy boy
Mm.
from the age of, I can't even remember, like I probably 12 to 26, 25, 26, all those years, I was an introvert, shy boy, fearful of speaking to people. You know, even just one-to-one conversation, I would freak out. You know, I'd be like, I don't know what to talk about. So, but if I remember when I was a kid, I was not that person at all, right?
Yeah.
I was loud. I used to like getting attention and all this type of stuff. This was me as a kid, but because there's certain things happen in our upbringing, and I was bullied at school. You know, there was racism happening at school. I grew up in the UK, being a Chinese, and that's what happened. So it happened, and it shut me up. So I think the best thing for the people who are listening here is, number one, is to remember who you were when you came into this planet. What type of character were you then? Because that is how you arrived. That is you. Who you are today is conformed by society. It's all the layers that's been put on. So let's strip all of that a second. Go back there. That's who you are. So that is your natural inquisitiveness, curiosity, daring, courageous. That's you. So from there, we built from there. We understand that skills can be learned. So what did we enjoy? So for me, I say I was loud. I enjoyed speaking to people actually then, right?
Yeah.
So I enjoyed speaking. I enjoyed the attention. I enjoyed that stuff. Okay, cool. So I enjoyed performing. So cool, right? Now, what skills can I learn to build on that? So for me, it's like, okay, I need to learn how to speak from stage. I need to learn this. There's a strategy. There's a template, you know? I need to learn if I'm going to do that as a business, how is it going to bring in any return? I need to learn those strategies. Then from the things, just like what you said before, now I need to pick out what are the parts of the equation that I cannot do. I don't want to do. It doesn't thrill me, right? So then I need to outsource those parts. But to outsource those parts, people will need to realize and come to the realization that money is important. Yeah. we start a business and we say, oh, a lot of people say outsource, but you haven't got the money coming in. You got no opportunity to outsource. So money is important. So that game, you need to learn very well. Now, whether you're a marketer, whether you're a closer, whether you're a program, you're delivering a program, all these parts, they can be paid, right? So they're all the things that can be paid. So as long as you know how to bring the money in, then you can outsource the different parts to different people.
Yes.
So I think that's the journey for people.
Yeah. So there's an interesting, thank you for sharing. So there's an interesting kind of gap that I see with what you said there, that I know that the listeners will be thinking about. And that is, well, if we have to master the game of money, but then we also have to be detached at the same time, how do you find that balance? Because even for me recently, getting back into the game, and, you know, I very much did detach to the other extreme of, like, from a spiritual lens. Before that, I was very attached. So attached that I made it happen because my life and my self-worth depended on it. And so, yeah, I built a multi-million-dollar business with a monstrous team and kept scaling it and blah, 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 until the inevitable destruction of, you know, the man, woman being energy upstairs said, cool, this guy needs an awakening, and slapped me. But I did have that extreme attachment, and I made the money work. And then I surrendered the need for the cash, and now I'm rebuilding from scratch. And so I'm at this place when I feel the same. I'm at the exact same place as I was when I very first started my most successful venture, Winning International, where I was nervous. You said that it's like, okay, that was a completion and now you're restarting. That's exactly right. It's exactly where I'm at. I'm going to tell you my exact situation, and from a place of vulnerability, and hoping that the listeners that are engaging can learn from your feedback on where I'm at, because I'm all open ears and up for learning whatever blind spots that I have. And I'm sure that you could shine some light on those blind spots. So at the moment, I'm rebuilding, and I'm really trusting my intuition. I close my eyes. I meditate twice a day. I do a Vedic meditation, and I do rounding, and I spend time quietening my mind. And I really surrender to Mother Nature, Father Sky, God, the universe, please be a vessel and use me in the way that you'd like to use me. And I trust what comes up, which can be an image or a symbol or a piece of action. And I've been guided to start this men's work program. And so I've launched a men's work program. It's called Crowning of the Kings, and it's about helping successful businessmen learn to love themselves unconditionally. And I've made it really premium. I've kept it tight-knit so that I can really serve and deliver in a way that I enjoy, which is by doing nature retreats over a 12-month process. It's a $50,000 price point. And I've had resistance. Like I'm very good at closing. When I ran my 20K program in the past, that was selling people more what I believe that they want: money, leads, sales, business results, 6-figure coaching business, 7-figure coaching business. My record was 11 sales, like phone sales in a week. And I had my team that did $1 million a month. Very simple. And now I'm doing something that really connects with my heart. And I'm finding a lot more resistance to being able to take the action, get the results, close people into the program.
The resistance is happening where?
The resistance is happening
It's
where I'm feeling the resistance is with there's still an attachment there. Because I've been out of the game, I've got a perspective, and what I've identified so far is my kind of inner child kind of wound trauma script that my dad inflicted on me as a boy, which essentially taught me to believe that I was conditionally worthy for love when I was doing well with something. And so at the moment, I've got an idea of what doing well with something looks like: multi-million-dollar business, big team, etc. And now, until I'm surpassed that, my ego or my insecurities compare with that and say, well, you're not doing well yet. And so I find resistance there. And I also have some fear come up around worth. I find I take rejection more personally, because I'm kind of second guessing my value again. It really is feeling like I'm doing it right from the start again. And I'd love to know, I'd love to know any feedback. And if anyone's listening, I'm sure that you can experience and attest to kind of some similar experiences.
It's a tough game. It's what you are wanting to put out is a tough game. What you did before was also a tough game. But you had the strength to go through it. You know how the game is. I mean, we put out positivity. Negativity comes to attack all the time. When it comes to attack, it will just come, And even including you sharing the story, it takes so much courage for all the listeners who are listening. We can't take these things for granted, because this is a true leader here. It takes so much courage to put out that type of vulnerability for other people to learn. This is using your own humility at the dispense to empower other people. And that takes a lot of courage, because when that vulnerability comes in and that humility comes in, people who need to, they will come and attack.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, totally.
So this is in knowing that we're still putting that out. So knowing that that type of character in yourself, that you are very strong. You are very aligned with what you are doing. And in knowing that there will be certain people there will be some backlash on it, there will be some people with some comments and things, right? You are still doing it. So that is very true to yourself, not for the reason of, it's not like by exposing this right now, you get $1 million for doing it. It's not you. What is it that you get from it? So this is from the act of giving. So that is a lot of strength in itself. Now, moving into this space, you say there's detachment, attachment. As it always comes to this place where people who are attached to something will practice detachment. Now, it's interesting because my master always says this. He says, it's funny. Today's spiritual people all practice detachment, even those who have never ever had anything before.
Yeah.
He says, it's interesting. He says, you haven't even done anything yet. You haven't made anything yet. What are you detaching from? What are you practicing detachment for? He says, you come into human experience, at least attach first, then practice detach. But then come to the realization of this. Spiritual teaching is very important for human doings, the human physical people.
Yes.
Material people. Understand you are also spiritual. Get the balance.
Yes.
But getting the balance, what people will need to do is exactly the same transition you went through, is exactly the same transition I went through.
Yeah.
It's saying, money, 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 success, success, success. This is me. This is who I am. To, this is completely not who I am. 180. Bam. Money isn't important. Nothing's important. Detachment. Everything's not important. To then saying, hey, wait there a second. Let me tell you something. We have, if people want to attack, if people want to detach, they want to live spiritual only. They don't want human experience. They don't want physical. They don't want material. Knife to heart, boom. That is exactly what you'll be experiencing. You are experiencing no material. You'll be experiencing no attachments. You'll be experiencing only energy. So, boom, knife to heart, gone. For the moments that you are in the physical, there is a reason why you are in the physical. So we come to now, you're grounded. Energy is pure. Intent is pure. Heart is there, serving from a place of love only. Beautiful. That is your spirit. Your spirit is in the physical. Physical has attachments. Attachments, right, is not a problem until it becomes addiction, a chase.
Yes.
That to clarify self-worth. Like, it's like this. It's like, so Lamborghini is parked outside. If somebody was to take my Lamborghini, my moment would be like, somebody took my Lamborghini. Why you took my Lamborghini? Right? So I would still get that moment. That's okay. It's my Lamborghini. But afterwards is also understanding, oh, but I guess I came in this world with nothing. I leave with nothing. That's okay.
Yes.
I'm blessed to even have experienced it in the first place. So that's okay. Yes. Then I come attachment and detachment. So we cannot come into this game. It's like we're coming into this business game. And by the way, it's highly important. You should not be the monk that goes to the mountain. You should not be the yogi that goes to the mountain and stays there living in caves and meditating the rest of your life. That's not what you're built for.
Yes.
Your path was not for that.
Yes.
Your path was specifically for business, then awaken. Why spiritual? Awaken business person. For your vessel.
Yes.
For your skills, for your talent. So now we say, now it's game like this. Now we are in touch with spiritual. Use the spiritual, use the great intent. Use this in this game. Then it will go crazy.
That's very, very valuable. And that's really appreciated. So receive that. And thank you for your beautiful compliments as well. It's absolutely true. And for me, my heart is open. I don't have massive attachment. You know, I have subtle attachment that creeps in because I'm a human and I've got a personality still, but it's very subtle, especially if it's contrasted with the past. So for me, it is balancing with the polarity of where I've been flirting with the last couple of years and bringing back some healthy attachment.
You know the game I always teach our students. I always say this game is like this. I'll give an example of when I before I enter stage every time. Many years ago, when I was training up to be a speaker, I would be fixed. Like, okay, I need to get this right. I need to get this right. I need to make sure everything's right. I need to make sure to get the sales or do this or do that and make sure, right? So everything's okay. Get it right. Get it right. Get it right. Like a lot of times, sometimes it will go well. Sometimes you'll screw up and you don't know why. There's attachment there.
Yeah.
So how do we play the game well? we know our craft. We know we're good at craft. I always say master the form, then flow with the formless. Now we've mastered the form. We know we got our shit together. We know we can do it because we spent 1,000 hours practicing that stuff.
Sure.
So now we say, just before I enter onto stage, what is my words? My words is, universe, if I could just even impact one life, I'm done. It doesn't matter. And I know you know what's best for me. So use me.
Yes.
I'm just going to go up there. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to spread some love and use me. You will decide what happens.
Yes.
If I can go with that type of energy and intent, let me tell you something, 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 times out of 10, the result is phenomenal. It's beautiful because there is no attachment to outcome.
That's beautiful. So what would you give as a recommendation for people who are listening that may not have learnt to detach fully? Would you recommend from your perspective the same approach, that you find your genius zone?
Don't look. I think people should attach. Really, I think people should attach so much. It becomes it's having some sort of negative response. Once you get enough negative response, you will get awakening.
Yes.
It's hard to find the medium. It's hard to find a medium if you've not gone through that part.
Yeah.
So it happened to you, it happened to me. So why would we, I'll say, right, people are saying, oh, I find it hard to detach. Don't detach. Attach until you feel the problem. When you feel the problem, you see, you can't convince somebody. Let's say we say, hey, you got to look after your health. Hey, you got to look after your health. Hey, you got to look after. We can say it in any motivational way. People are not going to look after their health.
Yes.
Health scare, they will look after their health.
Yes.
So what I'm saying, if you're finding it hard to detach right now, okay, how about you attach more aggressively? In a short space of time, attach more aggressively, right? And see what happens. Once you see the chaos will lead to new order. So it needs to happen that way.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because one thing that I have found as a little bit of an uphill battle is I've been attempting to market towards people in a preventative way. And I feel like this is a really, like, I know it from a marketing perspective, but I haven't fully integrated my new personal clarity and personal experience of life into marketing, because, you know, I used to market very clearly. Hey, you got this problem, I'll give you the solution. Yep. And solve the problem. People are like, yeah, let's get on it. Jump in. But then when I market recently, it's marketing trying to help people avoid the attachment so that they don't have to go through that, the pain. Which is, yeah, it's really interesting, as opposed to either making the message clear that it's for someone that's before that wants to attach, helping them attach, or someone that's after that realizes that they need to detach and then helping them detach. But I've been trying to do both on opposite ends. So that's a really awesome learning that I've got. So thank you. Oh, it's one fun big game. It really is. So you've got a Lamborghini.
Let me tell you, Ryan, it was actually a Ty Lopez interview that I watched one time, and I would have never thought that Ty Lopez would be a person that I would get one big spiritual awakening from, but it came from this, right? So there's an interview and somebody was interviewing him and asking him, he says, hey Ty, you always put all the Lamborghinis, Rolls Royce, all these cars in the background in all your videos and things like that, and always have these like models behind you and things like that. It's like, you know, why do you do that? Are you you know, you have this need to show off, or what is the reason behind it? And Ty said this thing, and I felt it was profound, because he said, you know, I must get like thousands of messages every single day. And out of those thousands of messages every single day, there are kids from gangs that come off the streets and they send me a message and they say, thank you so much. you've changed my life. Now I read this book that you recommended, and now it's changed my life. And what he said was, he said, do you think that kid would have even watched my video or clicked on my video if the Lamborghini was not in the background? It was, I got my biggest profound learning from that. I don't know what his intent was behind it, but I got my learning. And my learning was, that is genius. From a surface perspective, we can say, oh, what a show off, what an idiot, look what he's doing. You can look at it that way. But anybody to know his message, what is his core message? His message is always read books, personal development. That's his core message. Every video, that's his core message. So if you look at it, that is smart. If you really think about it, I can be like this. Let's say, for example, in every ad that I put out, in every video and everything that I put out, I can be namaste, 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 yoga, meditation. Now, who will my message reach out to? It will reach out to everybody who's namaste, yoga, everybody who's conscious.
Yes.
Now, if I put the Lamborghini there, who does my message reach out to? It probably reaches out to the people who needs to reach out most.
Yes.
The people who are stuck with material, the people who are stuck in all this media nonsense. So what I say is, how about we learn how to, what you were talking about before with the marketing.
Yeah.
How about we learn how to tap into their vibrational frequency, speak their vibrational language, bring them in and take them along the journey. That will be their biggest awakening. And I couldn't do that any other way. So at that time, I said, okay, cool. Gives me a nice excuse to buy a Lamborghini. When I was a kid, I watched this movie, and it was Maggie Q was driving a orange Lamborghini. And when I was a kid, I said to Dad, I said, Dad, I want one of those. So I said, perfect. I said, it needs to be loud, needs to really be a bright color. I said, orange Lamborghini. So I bought the orange Lamborghini. And we use it for purely that. And I want to say, like, it's not fun to drive. Well, it's fun to drive if you can drive unlimited. Well, here is all speed, like speed cameras and everything. You can't really enjoy it like that. It's not comfortable. It's not. It's hard to get into. It's hard to get out of. Our Toyota Prius, I walk straight in and straight out. I drive the Toyota Prius every single day. Like no, it's not. But it's good. It's nice. It connects people. How many people have I had come in to say, oh, I'm so glad you put this message out because I was wanting to the spiritual side, but everyone was saying that I can't do my fashion stuff anymore and whatnot. You know, I had an interview yesterday that said that. And because I seen Yogi and Lamborghini, I really resonated with it. Great. You see?
Yeah, absolutely. But even if you didn't enjoy it, it's the radical authenticity as well. Like, I feel
that's okay. That's okay.
Spiritual has a very specific label these days.
Spiritual people. Oh, not allowed to do this. Oh, you can't be seen like this. It's not about material world. No, it's not. Look, if you can say spiritual, and if you can use the word abundance, then please, at least material, at least lifestyle. At least allow yourself to live. You say, I am enough. I am powerful. I am strong. I am a king. I am a queen. At least live like a queen and king then. You know, if you say, I deserve it all, then prove it. Live it all. You see what I'm saying? They speak it. This is the thing. You must see spiritual people, they speak all these words. You speak all these words, so where are you living it? In your dreams? In your visual? What about in your real human body right now?
Yes. What really comes to mind there is Maharishi's beautiful quote that I feel integrates spiritual and material really well, which is, you deserve the best, accept it, like really know that you deserve the best and really know your own worth, expect it. So actually have not like this desperation that detaches you from what you want, like legitimately expect and know that whatever you're going to be gifted, you deserve, and then claim it. And I feel like that's the part of the message that I took a lot from what we were talking about maybe 10 minutes ago. And it's such a beautiful balance with everyone. So I feel like your story is such an interesting, really interesting, incredible story. And it's so unique as well. It's really cool. And then we've gone through this huge round circle, and I feel like it's landed in a place of just be your authentic self, go after what you want, learn to like really connect to your heart, detach away from the outcome so that you're not putting all your self-worth on there. And yeah, it's come full circle to then, okay, live your life, live it to the fullest, and make an impact in the way that you know how and you feel right. So yeah, if we go back to that point, what are the biggest kind of practical tools that you recommend that people can do to be able to, if we summarize the wisdom and the theory that we've discussed in this call, what are some practical tools that you recommend that people can use from either a spiritual, emotional, and material lens that you find produce the best results for people to live this heart-centered, empowered, abundant life?
I think the foundation will always start with breath work. My masters always teach this, is because breath work allows for grounding. Breath work allows to calm the mind, gets rid of stress. The big problem is most people are, their mind is like a sea of turbulence. So they have no clarity. If the motor was going crazy right now inside the sea and you're under there, you don't see anything. That's how people are, clouded. I think I see something there. I think I should do this. I think I should do that. They're not sure. I think this is who I am. They're not sure. When we do breath work or meditation, when we calm the mind, that is the first step to saying, how do we switch that motor off? Imagine the propeller stopped and you are underwater. What do you see? Suddenly fishes appear. Suddenly path appears. Suddenly this direction leads me to that. That direction leads me to that. Clarity happens. I know which way I want to go now. I see myself now, you see? So that turbulence dissolves. So that will start from breath work. So first will be to calm the mind, tap into self. And how to tap into self is to say, what is it that makes me happy? What is it that makes me happy? And how do I, how can I serve people? How can I help people? Because that purpose will come from there. Higher purpose will come from there when you're serving beyond yourself. How can I help people with something that I feel good, enjoy doing?
Yes.
So when the feel good is there, that good feeling, somebody asked once, they asked the monk, they said, how do I know when I'm feeling that this path feels good? How do I know that this is actually God's plan for me? How do I know that's like God calling? And what the monk said, because what is God calling, G-O-D, and what is good feeling, there's zero in between. There's nothing in between. And in that way, if we do what is good, if we do what is good and what feels good, what the soul desires, then that is good, and that is God calling. So that is the path. We're serving people, we're helping people, we are feeling good, we're walking on that path. I always say to people say, but I don't know if this is the right decision for me. Should I go this way? Should I go that way? An old mentor of mine once said, he said, it's not about making the right decision in life. It's about your ability to make a decision and make sure that decision was right. So what you're saying is, I say, okay, it doesn't matter. I left home at age of 15. Mom was crying, dad was angry. Is that right decision? Well, we can debate that all day long, but I can only say today I have the proudest parents in the world. Every single day on their Facebook feed, this is my son, check out his work. So was it good decision? Was it right decision? Was it not? Well, it doesn't matter about the decision right now. Is it good feeling? Is it good intent? If it is, you cannot go wrong. You will never regret walking on the path of love and joy. You will never regret. You see, the people who regret at the end of their life is people who never loved, who never had joy.
Yes.
So if you go down that path, you are never wrong. So keep going that path. Keep going, love and positivity, that path. Along the way, the service, whatever you decide, whichever direction you decide to go in, find somebody. Find someone like you. Find someone who's walked the path before you, and
Mm,
seek guidance. Right? Seek guidance. I think a lot of people too proud, ego too strong to seek guidance from others.
yeah.
But seek guidance because they will tell you, hey, there's gonna be a bump here, so avoid that. So seek guidance, and then you will go very, very quickly to your destination.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. And so if somebody is navigating this, and after I go through this question, I'm going to start to bring it home. If someone's feeling good, taking action, feeling good, taking action, and their material reality is not yielding abundantly, an abundant result, an abundant life, and they're finding themselves stuck financially.
Then you need to speak to Ryan. He
Yeah.
knows the game. This guy pulled $1 million months. He knows the game.
Mm,
Then you got to speak to him because
sure.
this is what I'm saying. That comes the point where you need to seek guidance.
Yes.
Spiritual and human, we are both.
Mm,
Spiritual, you've tapped in now. Okay, good. You're in flow. Human, what is the human skills? What's the human strategies? Find a coach, find a mentor. So they must do that.
mm, beautiful. Super easy, super clear. So thank you so much for your time on here. Before I ask, I've got one more question that I'd like to ask. And before I do, I wanted to honor you because you've been such, like, the thing that was consistent throughout your whole story with as your identity as Eric Ho, or Master Sri Akarshana. You still, whenever you got presented with an opportunity or a feeling, you really went full into that. And it's something that became abundantly clear when we started this interview. And I got that sense without really fully knowing you, just by engaging on the periphery over the last 5+ years. Like, I really admire your courage and your strength and being that vessel of power. And that really is admirable because it does take the ability to bridge the discomfort. Even if you are in flow, there's still those little elements of discomfort, and it takes a lot of courage. And I really admire that. So I just wanted to honor your heart for being so big and bright. And I sensed your humility on here. I sensed your desire to give and serve, and really connected with you. So thank you so much for being you and for being this beautiful vessel for impact. I found the interview so far to be very profound. We're not done yet. Where do you recommend that people follow you? Where would you like to direct them?
Yeah, they can follow on social media. So they can follow on YouTube. They can follow on Instagram, TikTok, any platform, Facebook. So
Beautiful.
they'll be able to find me there.
Amazing. So I'm just going to read it out just so people can find it. So Master Sri Akarshana. So master spelt master, and then underscore SRI underscore AKARSHANA. And if you jump on Instagram, what I'd love to encourage you guys to do is jump on there and just send Master Sri Akarshana a beautiful message, just to thank him for his time, or something that was really profound and stood out for you. It always is beautiful and nice to get those messages. Maybe you can ask a question, and Master Sri Akarshana can do a live on it or a video on it as well. It's always nice to receive those little reach outs. So I'd love to wrap up with one last question. And that is, I'm not sure how it's going to exactly land for someone that's fairly detached. But if I was to come to you, or you had a random anonymous person who you couldn't see and you knew nothing about them, and you couldn't channel your spiritual wisdom to figure it out, and they offered you $1 million for one piece of wisdom that had to be objective, and they said, I just want one thing that you would say is the most valuable, objective piece of advice that you can possibly give. I'm going to give you $1 million that you can use to further your mission in exchange. What would you offer them in terms of either a practice or a piece of advice or a tip or something in exchange for that $1 million?
Let me, because it has to be dependent on person.
I understand that.
Let
Which
me
is,
let
yeah,
me
yeah.
let me let me let me give this for you. This
I
one.
would love that.
So if $1 million was coming from you, this
Yeah.
is what I would say. Hmm. There is a fine line where it comes to material and showing off, ego.
Hmm.
Hmm. So there is a very, very fine line in that. Hmm. The attachment and detachment, there is a very fine line. Understand, this is how the human game works. I can buy a Lamborghini, that's okay. I can post the Lamborghini on social media, that's okay. What is the intent of my post? What was my energy while posting?
Hmm.
If my intent is, I want to show them what I've done. Self, ego, sense of significance, sense of self-worth, showing off. Ego creates an alert on the radar. It's loud, it shouts. It's shouting out about success. When the radar starts flashing, negative, chief of negativity will say, hey, guys, something's happening over there. Then they will send some army to come and do some work.
Hmm.
The work can be in a different form, can it be in a different way? It will affect in different areas of life. We never know where it attacks, but it will attack.
Hmm.
That's why I always say, don't shout about success. Don't shout about success. Let results make the noise. So when we don't shout, when we shout about success from a place of ego, radar comes up. That's why some people, they would say, you probably had this moment before. You strike a deal, pretty much certain it's done. You tell everybody about it. The next moment, the deal backed out.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, how am I even going to explain this now? Yeah, I told everybody already, right? And every single listener on this call has experienced that before.
Mm.
But there is a fine line, and that fine line only comes from intent.
Mm.
I can post and it's very careful. You will see after the mountains, I have very little in comparison to what was before of Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Because every single time I think, take a photo here, let's put it out. I now question first, wait there, why am I putting it out?
Mm.
If my purity of intent is purely for the sake of, I'm doing it to empower people.
Mm.
Pure. Actually, there is definitely no more disturbance. There's nothing else. Then I put it out, it's safe.
Mm.
People cannot believe that. That's okay. But when they try it, they test it, they will figure out. I have realized my life has become so much easier after the mountain since understanding this philosophy.
Mm.
In the past, a lot of things used to happen like that. My YouTube channel grew very quickly. Within 5 months, I got 100K following. I posted on social media, I say, look, I got 100K in 5 months. Next few days, boom, subscriber rates come down. I'm like, why? What's going on? Did I do something wrong? Nobody. Because algorithms, I did the same thing. YouTube videos, clickbait titles, whatever. I did everything it was the same.
Yeah.
Sometimes in life, we have so much that we don't know why. We use the same strategy, same effort, but sometimes it goes right, sometimes it goes wrong.
Mm.
This is $1 million for people.
Yes. Thank you. I very much received that. It was deeply profound for me. Thank you, Master Shri Akarshana, for jumping on today. It's been such a joy. And I feel like I essentially just got knowledge bombs from the master in a private one-to-one coaching session the whole time. So massive gratitude. And I know everyone that's listening would have gotten so much from that. So thank you very much for joining. It's been amazing to connect.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Press to all. Thank you.